affair. Josephus, who is not a Christian, is the only non-biblical source for Jesus' mission and death. Josephus places the trial within the context of Pilate's trouble with the Jews, his violation of Jewish law, and his bloody repression of Jewish complaints. The historian writes, "There was about this time Jesus, a wise man, if it be lawful to call him a man, for he was a doer of wonderful works, a teacher of such men as receive the truth with pleasure. He drew over to him both many of the Jews and many of the Gentiles. He was the Christ." Josephus then continues, saying simply that Pilate, at the suggestion of the principal men amongst us, that is the Jews, had condemned him to the cross. Josephus acknowledged that Jesus' followers believed he had come alive again after 3 days. John's and Jesus' deaths were only drops in the sea of controversy and death that swept through Judea during the reigns of Antipas and Herodias. For example, the first Christian martyr, sometimes called a proto-martyr, Stephen, was stoned by the Jewish Sanhedrin for his support of Jesus and for his criticism of Judaism as it was traditionally practiced. This drumbeat of dissatisfaction and growing violence would continue to build until it brought down the wrath of Rome. Roman armies marched into Judea some 30 years after Antipas' rule and destroyed Jerusalem, the temple, and the other great Jewish cities. Antipas' rule did not quiet the province, and Herodias' killing of John did not quell the dissent. As we will see, Jewish life and the growth of Christianity will shape a number of the women's lives we will follow, and it started here with Herodias' killing of John. What of Herodias herself? Her overweening ambition brought down her husband. The problem arose, not surprisingly, in the relationship with Rome. In 37, Antipas' patron, the Emperor Tiberius, died, and the throne fell to Caligula. With the change in power in Rome came a change in power in Judea, and Herodias wasn't happy about it. Herodias' brother Agrippa had fled to Rome years before to escape debts that he had incurred in Judea. While he was in Rome, he had become friends with Caligula. Now the new emperor rewarded his friend. Agrippa was given the tetrarchies that had once belonged to Philip and Archelaus. In addition, the emperor awarded Agrippa the title king instead of just tetrarch. When Agrippa returned to Judea, parading in the trappings of a king with a title superior to that of Antipas, Herodias grew furious with envy. According to Josephus, Herodias was so envious that she repeatedly urged her husband to go to Rome and acquire the title of king and queen for them, so they would be equal to her brother Agrippa. She said, "Let us go to Rome, and let us spare no pains nor expenses, either of silver or gold, since they cannot be kept for any better use than for obtaining a kingdom." Antipas was opposed to her request. As Josephus wrote, he had a love of ease, and he anticipated the trouble he might have in Rome, so he tried to urge her to abandon this idea. She badgered and berated him until he could stand it no more, and he gave in. The two traveled to Rome with all the royal trappings they could muster and planned to appeal to Caligula. But Agrippa heard of their plans and also prepared to go to Rome to make sure his status didn't change. He made his own plans to sabotage his sister's pleas by sending Caligula letters accusing Antipas of treason. Agrippa's servant made such good time in the trip that he arrived at the same time as Antipas, and Caligula received Agrippa's accusatory letters. The emperor believed his friend Agrippa, and Antipas lost everything.
Wow.
Caligula took away his tetrarchy and gave it to Agrippa, uniting Judea once again.
Nice.
Caligula also gave Agrippa all of Antipas's money, leaving the tetrarch to live in modest circumstances the rest of his life.
Oh, no.
Antipas was exiled to the city of Lugdunum, modern-day Lyon, in Gaul.